started with a routine monster hunt. It was commissioned by King Rexus, famous for his hatred of sorcerers. The oppression of sorcerers was common practice in the domain of this ruthless king. But King Rexus was not alone in his mistrust of sorcerers. Sorcerers are keepers of the peace, but they deal in murder. The king's disgust was no secret. Despite this, he requested my assistance, which suggested that he faced a great challenge.
Be so wrecked. It's nothing, don't worry. attacks are working well. One more blow! You're getting good at this.
No. I don't want to die. No. I don't want to die.
It's down on its last legs. monster's life.
I defeated the monster, and a man approached me. His name was Militar, trusted knight of King Rexus.
I was preoccupied, and so, my lord, enlisted your help.
Quelling the monster was on a long list of tasks assigned to Militar. I had heard much about this man. He was the only sorcerer to ever get close to King Rexus. Amongst sorcerers, he is called the King's Little Apprentice, or worse, the lapdog of the elite.
Won't you join my forces?
It was an unexpected gesture of confidence, but I questioned his motives. King Rexus always hated sorcerers, but he was also keenly aware of their great strength. Militar exploited this, and by demonstrating unwavering devotion, had become a rare and invaluable possession of the king. He faced suspicion in the kingdom. Once a sorcerer, always a sorcerer. People within the court would always view Militar with disdain. And here he was, asking me to join him. I'd slain the monster. He had recognized my potential. Militar asked me to do a job. He said during the task, his true nature would be revealed. The job was the delivery of a secret message to a hideout deep within the mountains. I arrived at the hideout and was greeted by a female sorcerer. The place was filled with sorcerers. These sorcerers all served Militar. He had amassed allies, and they waited for the moment to pounce, waiting for the day they would rise up and drag King Rexus down. Countless sorcerers had lost their lives under King Rexus's rule. Militar knew this all too well. As a boy, his parents were executed for crimes they did not commit. Vowing revenge, he infiltrated the court of the enemy, planning a revolution from the inside. The secret message read, "The time is not yet ripe." Orders from Militar.
How long must we wait?
The woman swiftly crumpled the message in her hand. By delivering the message, I had been let in on Militar's secret. He asked me to become friends, but he also needed an ally to help carry out revenge. Then, one day, he confided in me. He said that he had received a letter directly from the Queen. Queen Regia had been blessed with a pregnancy. Militar was clearly distressed. He told me he'd fallen in love with the Queen, his enemy's wife. At first, it was part of the plan. But he explained that what started as deception blossomed into true love. Regia's letter proposed that they leave everything behind and flee together to a faraway land. Militar, torn inside, set out for their rendezvous. En route, he faced terrible monsters.
Let us see these skills of yours. I knew you were a capable sorcerer. Well fought. On to the next one. Let's finish this and advance further. Let's finish this and advance further. Well fought. On to the next one. Let's finish this and advance further. like some light training. Well fought. On to the next one. Let's finish this and advance further.
Regia had slipped out of her residence and had arrived safely. Militar, and he told her. Regia had slipped out of her residence and had arrived safely. Militar and Regia embraced. And he told her everything that he had kept from her. That he had approached her only as part of a larger plan. Regia was heartbroken and melted in distress. But Militar took her in both arms and held her tightly.
It started as a lie, but this lie became truth. I have devoted myself to vengeance, but now I devote myself to you and the child you bear.
Regia stood sobbing. She cried not out of sadness or grief. They knew that they would cast all aside and live for each other. I was asked by Militar to escort them to the border. Militar marched along the rough trail with Regia on his back. At this moment, they both had faith in their future, faith in the joys to come, unaware that all of their dreams would be shattered. Their conversation came to a sudden end, and Militar froze. Blood ran down Regia's face. The light faded from her eyes. An arrow of ice had sunk deep within her forehead.
Where are you off to, dear Militar?
The female sorcerer we had met at the hideout peered down upon us. Militar had turned on his peers to elope with a queen, as the female sorcerer saw it. Declaring him a traitor, she fell on him with her band of sorcerers.
Dear Militar, to think I had faith in you! Treacherous cur! What of the promises you made? Did they mean nothing? You said you would bring changes to this land. You waited so long.
I knew you were a capable sorcerer.
To rise up! How could you? And with a woman like that?
I knew you were a capable sorcerer.
No less! How could you abandon us? Militar! Oh, Militar! Why did you not choose me?
Militar, in quiet despair, embraced the corpse of his beloved queen. Sobbing for 3 days and nights, until at last he took to his feet. Militar embraced his lover's body and waded into the lake. He released her hand, and she sank into the water's depths. He spoke little and left. Sometime later, I happened upon Militar. He was a traitor, on the run from the king's men, tinged forever with self-doubt. The moment he and Regia had vowed to live together. However brief it was profoundly fulfilling. Unlike any emotion ever felt in his quest for revenge. The pain of losing Regia was a difficult thing to overcome. He wished to curse his fate and curse the world. Yet if he did, he felt that he might seal his own fate, that he would stoop to the level of a monster. He had lost Regia, but he did not wish to lose the purity of his love for her. Why let good memories be tarnished by hateful thoughts? And so he believes that there will be a day when he can accept his cruel fate. That he may lose everything, but he would not lose himself.